How about now? I think it should be up now, right? Audible. Okay, great. Nice. Thanks for that. Thanks for that, Blaze. Oh yeah, guys, by the way, to the VOD watchers, Blaze is going to be the brainchild of the build reveal later on. So we're just gonna go through the skill gem changes because we haven't done like a proper look at everything. Plus we're gonna go through the transfigured ones because there are gonna be some curious ones. And then after that we're gonna go and open up his Lacerate build, which is really nice. And since Blaze is here, we can ask him for some tips live. Aren't we lucky? Holy. Let me just get our channel. I'm just gonna share it first. Damn. The Meta Business Suite on Facebook really should give like a dark mode. Basically everything is on dark mode already these days. Holy. Okay, there we go. Right, everything has been done. Okay, let's go back. Right, so let's go through all of these. I'm actually pretty curious to see anything we've missed. Alright, so in the Affliction expansion, we've made changes to many existing skill support and Val skills. Oh, support gems as well. Right. Today's post includes the gem data at level 20 with 20% quality for all the changed gems. It'd be great if you could hold Alt and, you know, the website would also recognize that and will, you know, highlight more advanced mods. GGG, please. I think this is gonna be so hard to do. So yeah, there we go. Absolution has cooldown recovery rate now, so I think that's gonna be like the frequency at which they can cast, or I think the frequency in which you can refresh the cooldown of Absolution. I'm not sure. I forgot how cooldown recovery rate affects it. Let's have a look at the wiki. Well, let's open the wiki on the new tab instead of there. Holy hell. Absolution. Okay. So cooldown recovery. Where does cooldown recovery kick in? Because it has a duration. I think. Yeah, the summon sentinels have a cooldown recovery rate. How does it affect cooldown? Yeah, I'm thinking it's for the frequency of the casts that they can do. Wow, they actually have 20% chaos res by default. Ooh. They have a base cast time of 1.33 and 6% base crit. I'm actually thinking we can make an Inquisitor build with this. Imagine having Smite. Oh, we can try this out. Imagine if we have Smite, right? Then Instruments of Zeal. We proc Fanaticism. And we'll try and see if Fanaticism will technically affect the jewel, because, I mean, for self-cast speed, yeah, sure, but will it also affect the minions because they're technically from the jewel that has Fanaticism applied to it? Absolution minion empowered. Yeah, I think this is the skill that has the cooldown recovery, the empowered. So if you have the increased cooldown recovery rate, they have the absolution hit to go higher. Okay. Casual mindset. Ancestral Cry, doubled cooldown recovery rate. I like how they're buffing a lot of the things as well. So technically you could say that, you know, it's a little bit of a rebalance in the positive side. Might not be right now because, you know, not a lot of people are too happy with the helmet enchantments being removed. I'm basically unaffected by them. Ancestral Warchief activation range. Okay, so this is basically just means that there's a longer distance, or you can increase the gap between you and the war chief if you have to have some distance, because the ancestral protector and the war chief, if I'm not mistaken, they have like a set distance before they go inactive, where they do not attack. So the increased activation range means that you can have a little bit of a bigger distance to keep yourself safe, which is pretty nice. Animate Guardian. Oh, I think this is the reason why Gazi was pretty well. I mean, technically minions have 38% more maximum life compared to 76% increased minion maximum life. And how minions deal 38% more damage compared to just the minions having increased physical damage with melee. That's a bit of a bigger, or that's a bit of a more positive change, at least in my opinion, because I mean, aside from being it, you know, more damage, it's basically just damage in general. So if ever you have a different kind of guardian that you want to try and, you know, mix around with, you have the ability to do it, because it's just overall damage, you know. So pretty interesting. Cooldown recovery rate for Battle Mage's Cry. Meh. Not too fond of Battle Mage's Cry. Well, I'm not just too fond of it, I'm just not sure how to use it. Performs a war cry. Because I'm not mistaken, it basically allows you to have Battle Mage temporarily, but eh. Yeah. Increases and reductions to spell damage will also apply to attacks. 25% of their value, so technically it's a bit of a hybrid skill, but the hybrid scene is not that it's not that much of a thing right now in PoE. But this though, this, yes, all of my yes. Bladestorm. And actually I did try and play Bladestorm yesterday. I don't know why, and forgive me for this if you're still there, Blaze, but I feel a little bit more comfortable with Bladestorm. I don't know why, it just feels a little bit more comfortable right now. It's weird. I think it's because of the build itself, where I can just, you know, run around, place the Bladestorms, just run away, but it feels pretty okay. Especially when you start stacking them. Oh. But yeah, let's go to Bladestorm. And I'll show you why. I'll show you why this buff is pretty nice. The increased Bladestorms. Because it used to be the helmet enchantment. Oh yeah, it's the helmet enchantment. It shouldn't be there. Here we go. It's the +1 to maximum number of Bladestorm. So they technically are keeping up with what they've said with putting their helmet enchantments, and they're just combining it into the gems. I think some of the more OP ones they will turn into the transfigured versions, but this is a nice overall little buff for Bladestorm. Ash is gonna be expensive. Well, I mean, we'll still have to see though, because one thing that Ash, one of the main reasons why Ash was really loved as well was because of the mana reservation that it gave, but now it's gone. So we'll still see if a lot of people will want to go for that, because I mean, people can also craft reservation amulets now as well. I think people may go back to the Shaper Redeemer reservations, simplex amulets, like before with the aura stackers, if they're gonna try and want to put more auras in their builds. That's just my guess though. Quality is stupid. I mean, Heavy Strike will have 90% chance to deal double damage with ashes. Well, I mean, yeah, that is gonna be great for some of the gems as well, no doubt, you know. But I guess we'll still have to see if like some of the more meta builds will be affected by it. Something like that would surely make off-meta skill gems pretty interesting. Like this, yeah, sure. You know, this, yeah, this will be pretty nice. But for bleed, it has a limit though. I'd want to know your thoughts though. How do you say that this will have a limit for bleed? I'm actually pretty curious. % more damage. Oh, they buffed Bone Shatter. I also like the reset. There's a transfigured Bone Shatter which resets, which is nice. You don't have to endlessly stack your trauma. Chain Hook removed AoE and increased rage. Oh, they increased the rage. Cleave will have an increase to radius per nearby enemy, up to 10. This one though, I really like Consecrated Path, because I used to play Consecrated Path. I made a strength stacking Inquisitor that had Consecrated Path. Oof, the deliciousness. Oh my god, it's like Brutus led Sprinkler. And since it is Inquisitor, you can easily double dip with Battle Mage and then go back again with Crown of Eyes. And then Iron Fortress. Oh my god. I mean, having 7,000 life and dealing 7 million damage per strike or per slam. Whew. I didn't even use War Cries with it because I don't like War Cries. You know, having to constantly spam. Oh my god, but yeah. This. Oh, delicious. Anyway. That strength stacking build will be something that I will reveal, I guess, sometime in the future, if I'm more confident in it, because I didn't really get to min-max it as much. I like to I like to make my build guides when I know that I've min-maxed that. I've done everything I could. Earthquake. They reworded it. And ooh, 30% more. Holy, that's pretty good. Bladestorm applies bleed consistently, but they are not the strongest bleeds. Because Storm deals 50% less damage. I mean, yeah, that is true though, but I mean, we have to remember as well. I mean, if you count as well that Crimson Dance will always choose the strongest hitting bleed, you know, I mean, as long as you're applying, I mean, as long as you're casting the Bladestorms, it will keep on choosing the attack of the Bladestorm that you've done instead of the damage from the Bladestorm itself. Because I have seen that work, like, you know, the exponential damage that it does, and then when you leave it, that's when it slows down. But as long as you keep hitting, you can still apply the consistent bleed. Really? I don't know. I felt that damage myself though. It's like I have tried it, like just attacking once and then leaving the Bladestorm. It really is slow, but if I hit it consistently, you need to stay and keep attacking. Yeah, that is true. And that's why if you stop, it uses storm damage. And yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I meant. You know, like, so as long, for me at least, Bladestorm will benefit more from what well, at least from my experience, Bladestorm benefits a little bit more from the duration of the bleed itself, because at least, I mean, you know, the way like with the way the Crimson Dance always will always choose the strongest hitting bleed. As long as you can attack 8 times, it'll keep the Crimson Dance, or it'll keep the Bladestorm bleeds, or it'll keep the attacks from the Bladestorm bleeds first, and then suddenly reduce it. And then of course, since you have duration on it, the Bladestorms will also be there. So for me, it feels like a comfortable thing. In this case, Lacerate works better. Well, I mean, yeah, but eh. I don't know. I mean, yeah, but yeah, that's what I felt from it as well. And I don't know. One thing as well is that I'm not really sure as well if the guys from POB have updated the way Bladestorm was calculated, because before the 107% more damage from bleeding didn't work on it, so you had to manually place it. It's been quite a while, so I'm not sure if they've changed that as well. They did? Oh, well, that's nice. Oh, so that means that the numbers are true. Ha. Earth Shatter. What do they have? Oh. Well, they have more reason for you to lag out with the spikes. So it looks like what they're doing is that they're standardizing cooldown recovery for all of the war cries. Base duration. What does the base duration do? Oh, I think it's the base physical damage per second. Oh, okay. Well, that's nice. So that basically means that you can use Swift Affliction on it. Swift Affliction, I think, will be a bit more consistent with increasing the damage of Exsanguinate now, since it has a bigger duration with it to deal, or like to base the damage from. Frozen Legion, cooldown recovery. Kind of meh. I mean, I still haven't tried that. I still wanna see if I can do something with Frozen Legion for an Inquisitor. Because technically you can, as long as something will deal elemental damage, an Inquisitor can benefit from it. That's what I love about Inquisitors. It's just so easy, so flexible as well. They're basically like the champions. General's Cry will have 6 Mirage Warriors now. Holy! General's Cry is being buffed, hasn't it? Every third consecutive strike freezes enemies as though dealing. Ooh, that's 100% more. Oh. Looks like multi-strike is gonna be way more better with the Glacial Hammer. Holy. Decrease the duration of the ailment though. I'm thinking crit strike. Having a little bit more crit strike with this is gonna be better. So that you can consistently apply freezing. Ground Slam. What's Ground Slam? 69 more. Oh, 60 nice. More damage. Remove the increased AoE. So they're rewarding you for closer gameplay. Heavy Strike. Oh, there they go. They buff the double damage. Yeah, that's nice. And given that I think they haven't changed the weight of the Empire gem, I think Heavy Strike is gonna have way more reliable damage now. I've always wanted to make a Heavy Strike Inquisitor. Inquisitor again. Slayer. Maybe we can try and make that happen pretty soon. Herald of Ash. They've increased the damage of Herald of Ash. The minions have increased cooldown recovery rate on Purity, but I don't know what damage they did anyway. I don't think they casted any skills, did they? Huh. Holy Flame Totem. Fires 3 projectiles base. Is that base? Yeah, I think it may be base. Or maybe just adding additional projectiles per 11% quality. Increased projectile speed. That's nice, at least. Ice Crash. A lot of things with Ice Crash. They've added physical damage as extra cold damage. Oh, so a lot of scaling can be done with that. Base radius is gonna be 1 meter. Secondary radius is gonna be 2 meters. Third is gonna be 3. Nice, very linear. Cooldown recovery rate again for Immortal Cold this time. Interesting. Actually, pretty interesting. Infernal Blow. 76% of damage per charge. Base radius is 2.5. I actually wanted to try and make an Infernal Blow Inquisitor before. Because you can use scepters with it. Or you can use a staff as well. Very nice to scale damage with if you can craft them properly, because they have some really good clusters, or jewel clusters. I mean, that's why the Overlord passive is very expensive on the cluster jewels for them, This is basically champion level 45. Infernal Cry, cooldown recovery. Added a little bit more AoE. Molten Strike. Whoa. Do my eyes deceive me? They've actually buffed Molten Strike a little bit. It now has 4 projectiles. Oh nah, just a rebalance. Perforate. 2 additional spikes if you've changed stance. That's what I've seen as well. They're like encouraging stance switching on the gems that rely on stances. I haven't pretty shocked that they haven't done it with Bladestorm, but it's alright. At least it's safe. And then you have a little bit more scaling. No, a lot more scaling. You also have the effectiveness of added damage, plus even the spikes. Holy! Remove the duration. They've increased the base. For punishment, they've removed the effective curse on the quality, and then they're adding the debilitation. Okay. Interesting. Purity of Fire. Oh, increase the fire res. Very nice. It's gonna be easier. Oh, I think this could be a good way for us to incorporate melding of the flesh to our late game Stormburst build. Use the purity. Look for resistances on the gear by then. I'm not even sure how we can self-curse with conductivity. How does self-curse work? If we could self-curse, that's gonna be amazing. Rage Vortex sacrifices a little bit more of rage. Greater Rage Storm. Rallying Cry. Cooldown recovery. Remove the AoE. More damage. Oh, they've scaled Reap a little bit. Man, I remember when I made a Cold Reap Inquisitor when this came out. When was that again? I think that was also in Sentinel, wasn't it? I forgot. Holy. Because I actually wanted to make a Reap Gladiator build. But then I remembered, oh yeah, it just deals physical damage over time and not bleed. But yeah. Interesting. I think this was a helmet enchantment from Reap, if I'm not mistaken. Is it? Is it? I think it is. Easy. I think it is. Where is it? Where is it? Ah, there you go. Yep, maximum blood charges. Oh man, I wish I had this actually though, the Starfall Reap. Oh my god. If I had that, I think I would have been playing Reap for maybe 3 more leagues. At least. Ooh, cooldown recovery, that's nice. More frequent reckoning means more reliable damage from it, which means you could... I'm thinking that it'll be a little bit easier to actually apply curses with it. You know, put Hex Touch. That's what I used to do with Reckoning before. If I was too lazy to put self-cast with vulnerability, just slap it on, self-cast. But then Vengeance is a better way because Reckoning will only work when you block. Vengeance will work when you take damage or when you take a hit, if I'm not mistaken. So more reliable. Rejuvenation Totem. More Totem Life. Searing Bond. Oh yeah, that's the extra number of summoned totems. Cooldown recovery for shield. Oh! Deals 10% more damage with hits to closer to... Oh. I think we can... Oh. That is interesting though, these builds. This can... I think you can scale this properly if you also apply close combat support. Or like if there's a way for you to incorporate close combat support with any of the skills that deal more damage with hits to closer targets. Because it's more damage, you know? More is always nice. Smite. Reduce the AoE. Reduce the area damage. Static strike. Increase the beam frequency. Ooh, that's nice. Faster pulses. Flame Golem. Increase buff effect. Buff effect. Sunder. Oh. Sunder rebalance. Increased meters or increased radius of sweep. Tectonic Slam has a wider fissure. Vengeance has a 50% to trigger now. That's nice. 1 and 2. That's good. Vigilant Strike. More attack damage per endurance charge. Great for your endurance charge stacking juggernauts. Volcanic Fissure. More projectiles. That's nice. Vulnerability. Increased duration of bleeding on cursed enemies. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yes. This means, if I'm not mistaken, this will mean that self-cast vulnerability will be stronger compared to just the vulnerability on hit rings. Huh. Alchemist's Mark. Increased effect of the mark. Nice. Ambush. I really don't see the strength in ambush just yet. Sorry, GGG. Animate weapon though. More animate weapons. Artillery ballista. 2 more projectiles. Holy. Barrage. 2 more projectiles. They're increasing the projectiles. Very interesting. Bear trap. Base duration is 4 seconds. Ooh. Blade Blast will have a bigger base radius. They remove the AoE, and the more AoE per blade vortex blade detonated. Oh, they reworded it significantly. Is it different though? When this spell deals damage, your lingering blades or blade vortex blades are nearby. It will detonate them, dealing damage again in an area around them. Up to 50 blades can be detonated this way. And for the new changes, each time the spell deals damage, it will detonate any of your lightning lingering blades it touches. Oh. Dealing damage again in an area around them. Blade Flurry. I think they added more stages to it now. More damage with hits and ailments for each stage. Ooh, they've buffed it. They've buffed Blade Flurry. That's pretty nice. Pretty nice. Blade Trap. Rotates 5 times. Equipped Dagger Claw or one-handed sword around in circles, each repeatedly damaging enemies it spins through. Blade Vortex. They remove the AoE and critical strike chance for each blade, and it now deals higher physical damage and a higher hit rate for each blade. That's actually pretty nice. A better hit rate means, a little bit more consistent damage. Blade Fall. Ooh, this looks like a big rework. They've removed a lot of things. 50% fewer lingering blades in the ground if you don't cast this spell yourself. Oh, so triggered blade fall may actually be pretty good. Increased crit strike, less damage per volley. Strike per volley. So their new tag is spell AoE physical duration. They removed the critical tag. Ooh. Okay, they removed the critical tag, add one more volley. Ethereal weapons will rain from the sky, dealing damage to enemies in a sequence of volleys. Enemies can be hit multiple times where these overlap. Okay. Blast rain, more projectiles, blink arrow. I mean, to be honest though, I like how they're adding more power to the arrow skills by adding a little bit more projectiles so that they won't have to rely on GMP as much. You could just go with LMP, you know, further out into the game, which is nice. Like for example, bleeding split arrow is actually pretty nice, but the damage falls off quite quickly if you rely on splitting them to, a lot. Burning arrow, more damage with enemies. I have seen something about this, which is I am very excited to see. More damage for more radius to caustic arrow. Charge dash, a little bit faster movement speed, pretty good. They've added 8% more damage with its ailments for each remaining chain and cobra lash. Looking good. A little bit more chains. They've also added more chains. That's nice. Cremation. So it has, well, it looks like it has faster DPS because it's adding one more projectile, plus the projectiles themselves are 10% faster. Pretty good. Cyclone though, this seems pretty reworked. First hit deals 50% less damage, gain 1 stage every 0.2 seconds while channeling, maximum of 6 stages. You put 1 meter to radius per stage, lose 1 stage every 0.3 seconds while not channeling. They removed a pretty significant amount. So the new mechanic is that it'll increase its AoE 10% per 0.1 meter additional, or for 0.1 meter of additional melee strike range. That's nice. And they've given you a little bit faster moving speed. Pretty nice. Tell the skill to move towards a targeted location while spinning, constantly attacking enemies in an area around you. Okay, so they've basically like removed the stages because they've removed it from the wording. So there's no more stages for Cyclone. That's nice. So there's no more build up. You can immediately start at a pretty big radius if you have a lot of increased AoE, if I'm not mistaken. Oh! Napanood niyo pala ako. So detonate dead DD. What have they done to DD? They removed the cast speed, they removed the radius, but it has a bigger radius. Dinig ko yata kayo diba? Kita niyo? %50% chance to detonate an additional corpse. Oh, that's pretty nice, though, at least. Double strike will give you a 20% chance to deal double damage to bleeding enemies. This is pretty interesting, because technically, if you're thinking about it in bleed standards, if you deal 20% damage, or if you deal double damage to a bleeding enemy, and then that bleeding enemy, or you know, if that is a bleeding hit as well, if you're using Crimson Dance with it, could be some possibility with that. But don't hold that against me. I'm just thinking. I didn't say I was thinking correctly. Dual strike. They have removed the crit strike and multi for it, but it deals more damage with enemies that are on full life. That's huge. That's 60% more. Elemental hit, they've removed 20% damage. They've added more elemental ailment on the enemy. They've added increased debuff effect for ensnaring arrow. Holy damn. Wow. This is actually pretty strong. The ensnare effect? Or the debuff effect? Because if I'm not mistaken, then that can also technically increase the bleed damage that they can get. Because the ensnared debuff is the reason why they will always count as moving, thereby increasing the bleed damage. Or like forcing them to bleed as if they were moving. Oh, that's interesting. Ethereal knives. They've added a ton of projectiles to it. They've removed the lingering blades. The projectile speed, They've just taken a ton of extra projectiles for it. They've removed... They've basically removed the DPS scaling of explosive arrow. And they will reward you for having more hits done to the enemy. Okay, fair enough. Explosive concoction. They just rewarded the AoE to meters. Did the same to explosive trap. But they've added more explosions, but the explosions will be 30% reduced and 30% increased base radius at random, so it's more unstable. Pretty interesting, still okay though. Not a problem, I think. Still will be interesting. Explosive trap, fire trap, increase fire damage, increase trap trigger AoE. Ooh, bigger AoE trigger. Interesting. Flamethrower trap, cooldown recovery. Meh. Flicker strike though. Better frenzy charge reliability. Okay. Frenzy, more attack damage and attack speed per frenzy charge. Oh, rewarding the frenzy stackers. Huh. 3 more projectiles with frost blades. Galvanic arrow will fire more arrows and increase the projectile speed. Very nice. Herald of Agony has more stacks of virulence. Nice. Herald of Ice, a little bit more radius to the explosions. I think it's gonna be pretty good. Ice shot AoE angle is increased, but they remove the cold damage and the ailment effect. Ice trap, 50% chance to trigger an additional time. Ooh, basically almost like a multi-strike or something. Intuitive link. Skill effect duration. Yeah. I mean, I'm not too big with the link, so you know, to those who want to engage in party play, that's pretty nice. And with Lacerate, you have an increased attack speed if you've changed stance. You see, they're encouraging stance switching with the skills that can use stances. Weird that they didn't do that with Bladestorm. Oh, I guess it's pretty hard to try and incorporate something like that into Bladestorm. Who knows? It could be a transfigure. And I don't see a change in the wording. Could be a typo. Because if it's an old and new and then everything is exactly the same. Lancing steel, more projectiles, nice. Lightning arrow hits up to 5 additional enemies near the target. Interesting. Lightning strike will deal more projectiles. Ooh. Could be interesting. Mirror arrow, they removed the increased damage, maximum life, projectile speed. Pestilence strike, they removed the DOT multi for poison and just increased the poison duration. So I think they want you to apply Swift Affliction to it. Plague Bearer, they removed the AoE. This damage percent, oh, 4%. Nice. Poisonous Concoction. They've added a chance to inflict Withered on it. Puncture. Bleeding inflicted by the skill deals damage. Oh, they removed that. But they've made it 60. Nice. More damage with bleeding. Ooh. That's a solid 20% more damage. Holy. That's pretty good. Damn, sorry for the yawning. I'm supposed to be asleep at this point. But that's okay. We can stay up a little longer, even if I keep yawning. Yeah, attack speed is 70% of base. That's one of the sad things about puncture. It's pretty hard to try with or to try and use properly. And I imagine if it had the ability to use axes. Oh, man. Purity of Ice. There we go. 10% additional cold resistance. That's nice. Yes. So I think this really does mean that we can use Melding of the Flesh a little bit easier for builds like this. I think we may see a little bit more value for Melding of the Flesh now, because it's a little easier to work around these builds. And I will go with Purity of Ice anyway if I do go Melding of the Flesh, because we can just not care about the bleeding, or not about the bleeding. Oh my god, why do I not care about the bleeding? But yeah, the additional cold resistance is going to be great. It's going to be a little bit easier to scale yourself up. And then I mean, if I were to choose between mitigating ignite damage or mitigating freezes and slows, yeah, slows and freezes, because I can always just find a way to out regenerate any ignite, especially if you're gonna be an Inquisitor. Holy, the amount of sustain that you can have on yourself. Rain of Arrows, 5 more projectiles, nice. Reeve, 4 maximum stages. Oh, so they've doubled the stages? Because it has 4 to maximum stages and then plus 2 to maximum stages. So, no, wait, it's basically a total of 6 that you can add to it. If I'm not mistaken. Let's have a look. What is Reeve now? Reeve. Oh, excuse me. Doesn't say anything here. Daggers, claws, one-handed swords. I was actually thinking before that Reeve could have been pretty good if you could, you know, turn it into like a Lacerate alternative. Riposte, cooldown recovery, Scourge Arrow, projectile speed. And they even add a little bit more thorn arrows from the Spore Pod. Could be nice. Seismic Trap. They removed the fizz damage from it. They've nerfed the effectiveness of added damage, but increased the base damage, and they added another wave. Interesting rebalance. Interesting rebalance. I think they want to scale. They want you to scale more of the percentage now, or maybe there's an opportunity to balance things out with it. Shattering Steel. They remove the base duration. You can get a steel ward if you have at least 2 steel shards up to a maximum of 6. Each steel ward grants 4% chance to block projectile attack damage. If you have no steel shards, only fires 1 projectile. Projectiles deal up to 110% more damage with hits per steel shard consumed at the target at the start of their movement, lowering this bonus as they travel further. Interesting. Swing an axe or sword, firing projectiles which shatter on impact or soon after being launched, dealing area damage in front of where they shatter. Steel shards are gained with the Call of Steel skill. Oh, so they basically added the Call of Steel here, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Shrapnel Ballista adds even more arrows and the projectile speed. To be honest though, I'm thinking that Shrapnel Ballista should have added a little bit more base damage to it. You know, a little bit more fizz damage to it. Because for me, Shrapnel Ballista was working pretty well as what it was, a shotgun style ballista, but adding 1 more projectile is okay, but you know, it's kind of Siege Ballista, attack speed per maximum totem. Holy, so the deck stackers are gonna have a lot of fun. Smoke Mine will grant increased movement speed. Snipe will have 1 more additional stage. Oh, excuse me. Snipe support. Supports bow attack skills, cannot support channeled skills, instant skills, val skills, or skills used by totems, traps, or mines. Spectral Helix projectiles that have pierce deal 10% more damage. Ooh, that's nice. A bit more damage, a bit more projectile speed, and it has a little bit more additional projectiles as well. Yeah. SST is gonna feel a little bit more comfortable with that, and just slower scaling, but pretty nice. Spectral Arrow, still the same. Pierce projectiles deal 10% more. Split Arrow, wow, 5 additional projectiles. Splitting Steel, they removed the meters to the radius. If you have no steel shards, projectile counts as already having split. Okay, so they removed that, doubled the impale effect, and they've reduced the chance to impale, but they've doubled the impale effect. Ooh, yeah, champions are gonna I think champions are gonna have some pretty decent experiences with splitting steel. Storm Rain, increased AoE, each arrow can fire 5 beams. Summon Ice Golem buff effect. Okay, Temporal Rift. Increased cooldown recovery rate has been reduced. And the buff causes debuffs on you to expire 20% faster. Tornado. Excuse me. Faster movement speed for the tornado. Tornado Shot has more secondary projectiles, pretty nice. Toxic Rain, 1 more arrow has been added, along with a little bit more duration. I think that may feel a little bit more comfortable to use now. Vampiric Link, Venom Gyre, 40 caught projectiles. Not sure if that's gonna be strong. Viper Strike, 1 more second. Volatile Dead. Base radius is going to be 2 meters, explosion radius 1.5. Wild Strike, 3 projectiles, chance to regen, night shot. Yeah, okay. Withering Step, a little bit less of an effect from the elusive, but you can inflict 8 weather debuffs now the first time each enemy enters the area. Pretty nice. Okay, before we proceed with the intelligence gems, I am just gonna wash my face. All right. Holy. Oh, wait a minute. What is my... Apparently my YouTube video link on on Facebook is spam. Is that real? Are you guys even real? Let me have a look. Did they remove the video guide on YouTube? I think that's what they removed. Oh no, it wasn't. What did they remove then? What was what they removed? We can't show the content. Then how the fuck do I know if it was spammy or not? Hello? Explain how I can defend myself. Was it spam? But you can't show the content. It's like saying how do we say it? It's like saying fuck off. It's like saying fuck off, Facebook. Nah, let's try and think about something legit. Then you guys are gonna put another block on my account. That doesn't seem fair. But legit though, that's weird. Is that right? Oh, I have 2K friends. Yeah. But yeah, absolutely weird. How does YouTube think of things like these? I cannot understand. I want to understand, but god damn it, son. Give me something to work with. Okay, so for Arc, god damn it. I apologize for the delay. For Arc, they have removed the chance to shock enemies. They removed the more damage for each remaining chain. They removed the effect of the lightning element, but they've added more damage with hitting elements for each remaining. Okay. Base crit strike is gonna be 1% more, and they can. Ooh, it can chain a little more. Okay. Arcane Cloak. Increase the buff effect. Hello. Interesting. Spends a portion of your mana to grant a buff that takes some of the damage from hits for you until depleted. The buff grants added lightning damage based on the amount of mana spent by the skill. I think we could see some possible mana stacking now because of that. Arcanist brand. Well, yeah, they just rewarded it because it activates every 1 second. Basically the same as every second. I've added a base radius now to Armageddon brand. Oh, 10% more damage with hit against branded enemy. Very nice. Ball lightning base radius is gonna be a little bit. Oh, it's gonna be 2 meters. They remove the increased lightning damage. Fires a slow moving projectile that damages enemies in an area around it with bolts of lightning. So they just remove the periodically. Okay. Bane, they've added the radius thing. Increased applied curses have 20% increased effect. Ooh, pretty nice. Blazing salvo added 1 more projectile. Okay. Blight, they removed the AoE, increased the duration, body swap, a little bit more cast speed, and doubled the maximum life. Bone offering, they've increased the effect. Ooh, that's pretty good. Grants minions a chance to block attacks and spells. Brand recall, increase the recovery rate, but they have decreased the attachment range. Cold snap, stronger effective chill. Chilled ground base initial radius is 1.5, and then the final radius is 3. I think it may have been maybe a little bit bigger. Creates a sudden burst of cold in a targeted area, damaging enemies. Yeah, just a slight rewording. Contagion. Base radius is 1.9. Spreads when affected enemy dies. Okay. Conversion trap. Skill effect duration. Crackling lance. They remove the chance to shock. 10% more damage with hits and elm. Ooh. Okay. Okay. So intensity still is a mechanic with crackling lance. That's okay. That's nice. And they've increased the damage even more. Man, I remember my first aura stacking build as a guardian, and we made crackling lance. Holy, that was nice. I missed that. How much was the damage again on that little shit? Oh my god, I think that was like 89. Yeah, it was at 89 million damage, or maybe 100 million damage. Just just that much. It's not going. It's not scaling into Path of Math billion damage. You know, it's not Donald Trump levels of damage. It's not billions and billions of damage. You know, it's not that much of a damage increase. It's pretty small, but it's reliable damage, fabulous damage. Yeah, that was really nice. Like, I think I only had 3,000 energy shield with my Guardian back then, but it was just so intense. Like, it had so much effect from the physical damage reduction and shit. 3,000 energy shield was all I needed. Like, I could not be killed with it. I love that build. Creeping Frost, AoE. Dark Pact, they removed the AoE. Sacrificed 2% more of the skeleton's life to deal that much chaos damage. Okay. Destructive Link, base duration. Discharge base radius is 3 meters, pretty big. 15% more area of effect per charge removed. Oh, that's pretty big. Instead of increased AoE, it's 15% more. Wow. 10% chance to deal damage without remove. Wow. Seems pretty OP. Divine Ire. They've added an increased beam width for it, and they have pretty big more damage with hits per stage after the first. Basically, like the scaling, or the scaling of the stages of the beam has been increased by a pretty big amount. Holy. Lightning spell, AoE, channeling, physical. Ah, that's nice. This is basically like the first version of Crackling Lance, where Crackling Lance is this, basically Crackling Lance is lightning tendrils that can turn into this. They removed a lot of the extra wording, simplified it a little bit. Increased duration of elemental ailments on cursed enemies. The effective curse was the better version, I think. Or maybe it's in a transfigure now. Oh, I think it's a transfigure. Ooh. Energy Blade removed the increased crit strike. And grants 45% less maximum energy. Okay, so it gives you a little bit more of your energy shield, which is good. That means you have a little bit more health. That's good. Regenerate 1% of debuff. Damages life. Eye of Winter, you have modifies number of projectiles only apply to final spiral. 2 more projectiles. Okay. Fireball. They remove the projectile speed and they gain the radius gain as they travel further. Base radius is 1.5 meters now. That's pretty good, guys. Flame Dash modifies the spell damage applied to the skills DOT. Ooh. So if you have a pretty strong, like if you scale your spell damage pretty steep, your Flame Dash can do some pretty decent damage as well. Holy hell. I remember the meme build that I made before. Oh my god, I missed that. Flame Dash totems. Fucking chess pieces. Oh man. Back when you could really have fun in Path of Exile. Oh my god. Firewall, wall length. I've added the amount of flame walls that you can use. Flame Blast. 1 more stage. Ooh. Ooh, that's nice. Flammability. 20% increased duration on ignites. Interesting. Flesh offering increased effect. Okay. Increased projectile speed for Forbidden Rite. Extra projectiles. Oh. 2 more enemies can be targeted from it. Freezing Pulse. A little less projectile speed. Frost Bomb. They remove more damage. The meters. Or like the AoE. They remove the increased cold damage and reduce energy shield regen. They have a big AoE though. Pretty good. Frost wall length has been increased by a little bit. And they remove the increased duration. Pretty good. Frost blink, increased effect of cold ailments has been removed. Oh, this could be good for the Stormburst build, guys. Because that was one thing that I felt that Frostblink was lacking in. You know, Flame Dash had the 3 uses, and despite them canceling out Stormburst, the ability to just instantly teleport, you know, within a short span was pretty good. Or for me, like, it felt more comfortable compared to just Frostblink, you know. If you had to dodge away, you wouldn't have the ability to dodge again immediately. But this changes that by adding a bigger gap. That's good. Galvanic field. A 40% chance to shock enemies. Ooh. Maybe we could apply this with our Stormburst build. Applies a buff boosting chance to shock when you shock an enemy. While you have this buff, creates a spherical field of energy attached to the shocked enemy for a duration, which will damage it and other nearby enemies with beams of lightning. Strength of the field depends on the magnitude of shock affecting the enemy when it was created. Ooh. So basically, you can try and scale that by adding Innervate, I think. Innervate? I'm not sure what Innervate is. I forgot about it. Glacial Cascade. 250% more damage in the final burst. Really nice. Herald of Thunder. Ah, so faster pulsing. Nice. Hex Blast. More radius. Ice Nova. They've buffed Ice Nova, that's nice. Ice Spear. Fires 2 projectiles. Holy. And the crit multi. Oh, the crit multi. Yeah, easy Inquisitor scaling with that. Icicle Mine. 3 more projectiles. Decrease the projectile speed. Incinerate. Added 2 more stages. That's pretty interesting, but Incinerate, still kind of underwhelming as a skill. Kinetic Bolt. They've increased the damage of the Kinetic Bolt. Nice. Lightning Conduit. Bigger area. Lightning Spire Trap. Lightning Tendrils. They've added more crit multi to it. What? And they've increased the base radius. Wow. So it's now a crit spell because it has crit multi. Ooh. Interesting though. 40% crit multi is no joke if you can increase the crit strike on it. Oh man. Interesting. They've changed it into a crit build or to a crit gem. Huh. Lightning Trap. Mana Bond is lightning damage equal to 54% of your missing unreserved mana. Orbit Storms. Orbit Storms is also a nice scaling there. Holy. 5 additional targets. Yeah, we're gonna have some really easy clears with the Stormburst now. Penance Brand. Oh, they've done a lot with the Penance Brand. So it deals 10% more damage with hits against branded enemy. They've just simplified it a little bit. And they've... Whoa! That's a massive increase. What the hell? Wow. Wow. Faster activation. Insane physical damage increase. Insane effectiveness of added damage. What? Well, I guess it's because they just moved. I think they basically just removed this reworded it and simplified it. I think that's what they've done. Power Siphon. Price of projectile at the 7 targets. Modifies the number of projectiles instead of like the number of targets fired at. More quick strike per power charge. They remove the 7 projectiles required. Or the 7 projectile stat. Increased damage. Critical strike chance. Okay. But it has 20% more crit multi per power charge. Holy. Fires your wand. Fire a single projectile each at a number of nearby enemies. Purifying Flame. Remove the AoE. A little bit more meters to radius. And the radius of creative ground. Creative elements. 5% to all elemental resistances. Pretty okay. I mean, you know, considering that this provides all 3 elemental resistances, understandable if it's gonna be a small buff. Purity of Lightning though, love it. Pyroclast Mine, 2 more projectiles. Raise Spectre, a little bit more resistances, okay. Raise Zombie, more life. Remove the area effect. Oh, 1 more zombie though. So they have nerfed the hit damage of zombies. Righteous Fire, yeah, Pox has done his take on that. Scorching Ray, additional debuff stages add 70% of damage. Sigil of Power. They remove the AoE. Enemies in an area deal 23% less damage while all of that is great. Holy, I mean, we have Sigil of Power as our skill jump combination for the Stormburst. Holy hell. So that means this is gonna give us a lot more survivability. Damn. What was the name of what was the name of the guy who commented again that Stormburst is gonna be useless in Ultimatum because if we stand still we die? My guy. Well, we can try and make things work with this, my guy. Don't worry. Holy. Like, if you can imagine what I'm thinking, you know, the properly like setting up your own little fort where you have your Sigil of Power, you have a Galvanic Field up, you have Orb of Storms, and they're just dishing out massive amounts of bullshit. That thinks good. Siphoning Trap applies more beams to the closest enemies. Soul Rend, remove the chaos damage. Spark, additional projectiles. Oh, additional projectiles. Spell Slinger, they remove the supporter skills will deal increased damage. Supporter skills have added spell damage equal to 50% more of equipped one if 2 ones are equipped. Yes. Spirit Offering, increased effect. Stormbrand, 1 more damage. There we go. The Stormburst, 0.4 multiplier again. Storm Call, %50 chance for lightning to strike the marker when cast. Sets a marker at a location after a duration. Lightning strikes the marker, dealing damage around it and causing lightning strikes at any other markers you cast. Stormbind removed the increased cast speed. Runes have 40% more AoE for each time they have been improved. Stormblast Mine, strengthen it a little bit. Carrion Golem buff effect. Chaos Golem buff effect. Holy Relic buff effect. 40% buff effect. Ooh, that's gonna be that's gonna be a nice heal. Lightning Golem buff effect. Raging Spirit, summon an extra minion. Holy. Reaper, you have no more movement speed and maximum life. Minions attacks have 70% chance to. What? So if you want to play a minion bleed build, the Reaper can do. One more skeleton for Tempest Shield for summon skeletons. 40% chance to shock enemies with Tempest Shield. I was hoping they could have increased the block chance that you have with it. Void Sphere. AoE, Voltaic Burst. More damage with 18 elements per each cast or spell. That looks okay. And it is chaos though, so it's gonna be strong. Vortex has been buffed or reworked. Because as you can see, it has more mana cost. There is a cast time on it now. The cold damage has scaled down a little bit, but you technically also have less DOT. So it's overall a nerf for me, at least. For me. Okay, let's continue. Wave of Conviction. It added that damage penetrates 50% of enemy elemental resistance. Ooh. Given that cast damage taken can work more frequently, Wave of Conviction may seem to be pretty good as a way of dealing additional exposure, plus of course, cursing on hit. Base duration is 60 nice seconds. I love how PoE is just adding so much 60 nice right now. Woo! Winter Orb. 2 more stages. Wintertide Brand Multiplier has been removed and it has more damage per stage. Pretty nice. Val skills. Here we are with the Val skills. We have well, basically a good amount of increase in damage. Val Molten Strike will deal 1 more additional projectile. Val Reap will keep dealing more damage per blood charge. What the hell? Goddamn cats. I know. Toothless, get the hell out of there. Do not hide behind the monitor. Oh my god. Everything is going to shit. These goddamn cats. My face cam. I have frozen. I will deactivate and reactivate. Ah. Okay, there you go. Now y'all can see my hideous face again. Right. Val Smite, more area damage. Volcanic Fissure. 3 more projectiles. 2 more additional eruption. Oh, they've just rewarded it. It's Fissure erupts 5 times, erupts 5 additional times. I think it's basically gonna be the same. Val Animate Weapon. The projectile speed or the movement speed has been increased. They've had 2 more animated weapons with it. There's basically buffs all around for the Val skills. Oh my god, wait a minute, guys. There we go. Yeah, okay. Burning Arrow, more damage with Ignite, Fire DOT. Val Cyclone, increased AoE. Val double strike still has the double damage to deal. Enemies, yeah, these are all pretty basically just the same as the Val skill or the regular skills. Except for this, it has a little bit more crit strike, a bit more effectiveness of added damage. They reduced the effect of the lightning damage and it has a bit more of a chain. Idiots are still fighting. I'm just looking at anything that may be, you know, immediately eye-catching, but I don't use Val skills that much though, so that's also a thing. So Ancestral Call. Okay, we're at the support gems now. Holy! Added extra. So what they've added is extra targets for supported skills can be found further away. Oh, so it's easier for Ancestral Call to look for a target. Pretty nice, ease of use. It's gonna feel a little bit more convenient in the early stages because usually I remember Ancestral Call being like a reward for the Marauder, I think, and I just don't take it. Ballista Totem. They've nerfed the placement speed. I don't know why. Behead support. They've nerfed the strike range, but they've added 20% increased damage with hits against enemies that are on low life. Oh, 9. Cast when damage taken. There you go. Supported skills required 10% reduced amount of damage taken to trigger. That's very nice. Hold to fire. Supported skills deal 10% increased fire damage. That has been removed. I think they're trying to focus on just the conversion, I think. Corrupting Cry supports Warcry skills. Cannot modify the skills of minion. So supported skills cost life instead of mana. So okay, so it's basically a life tap for Warcries, if I'm not mistaken. Corrupted Blood inflicted by supported Warcries deals 601 base physical damage per second. Ooh. Supported Warcries inflict corrupted blood on the first enemy hit by each attack they exert. Corrupting Fever? Oh, interesting actually. Flame Wood. They've added support skills have increased life. That's pretty good. Fortify, fortification duration. Well, I think it's because it's guaranteed anyway. Melee hits from support skills. Yeah, melee hits from support skills 45. I was about to say that it would have been better if it has a better chance to fortify skills, but if it's guaranteed. Supported skills deal 19% more damage with a hit. 19% more damage with ailments caused by melee hit. Oh, this could be a good way to incorporate into your build. Inspiration support. They have removed the inspiration charge duration and they have increased the reduced mana cost. Ooh, nice. More reliability. Life tap will now last 6 more seconds. That's pretty okay. Maim support. This one's pretty interesting for me though. Supporter skills have 20% increased effect of maim. Does that mean that if there are enemies that take increased physical damage while maimed, will that be a difference? That is the one thing that has immediately popped into my mind. If maim support will give you increased physical, or like, if the increased effect of maim will also increase the increased physical damage to maimed enemies. You know what I mean? Melee splash. Less splash damage to surrounding targets. They just, it looks like it's just a reworded term. Multiple totems. less placement speed, 10% increased melee damage overall, which is nice, like I said before. Pulverize, increased area damage overall, nice. Increase the AoE, nice. Spell totem support, reduce the placement speed again. A chance to double stun duration. That could be good for stun builds. I think stun builds are, you know, pretty niche, but still pretty fun. They look okay. They reduce the blind duration, but they've increased the blind effect. So I think that means the accuracy reduction that you get from blind is going to be increased. Increased damage with hits to close range enemies on close combat support. Yep, that's like to round things off better. And supported skills can only be used with axes or swords. Cluster traps. Bigger trigger radius, nice. Recover 2% of life when supported skills call an enemy. This one's interesting. It gives you incentive to use Culling Strike while you are clearing maps. That's actually very interesting if you think about it, right? Because Culling Strike will technically give you permanent DPS increase. That will be variable because it'll just automatically kill an enemy that is 10% below on life. And then you also have a chance to recover that life, or recover 2% of your life when you get to Cull. So this could mean technically a decent amount of DPS, because you technically just have to bring the enemy down to 90% of their life. And then you also recover 2% of life. It's very interesting. This could mean a different way to sustain some builds. Especially mappers. You know, the ones that just focus on gaining insane amounts of damage. Just clearing upon clearing. Very, very interesting actually. For me, at least, that's how I see it. It's pretty good. For me. Yeah. I am always able to digress. Hypothermia has removed its increased chill duration, but better chance to freeze. Okay. Ice Bite. 2% increased damage from frenzy charge. Okay. Returning projectile support will deal less damage with hits and ailments. Oh. Swift assembly. Nerfed. Trap support. Nerfed. Throwing speed has been reduced. Vile toxins. Yeah, nerfed a little bit. Volley support. Nerfed a little bit. So they've buffed. So from what I'm seeing, they seem to have buffed a lot of the active skill gems, but they have nerfed the support gem. Why are you like that, GGG? Blast chain. Yeah, they removed the mind throwing speed again. They've half bone chill support. Cursed ground. They increase effect. They increase the AoE of the supported curse skills. That's pretty okay. Devour. Supported skills deal 80% increased damage if you consume the corpse. And they remove the increased damage with hits against enemies that are on low life. Free defense duration has been reduced, boys. Excuse me. Movement speed. Who cares about movement speed? Frigid Bond. Effective chill. Hex Bloom. 5% difference. Remove the trap throwing speed. Infernal Legion. Minions from supported skills. I'll say they've basically nerfed Infernal Legion by a little bit, so that these monsters can, or that these monsters will die quicker. But I think that also means that it's gonna be more reliable unstable minion damage. Infused channeling, yes, I've seen this. Basically just yeah, it's basically just the same. Must have added a space or something. Innervate, increased shock duration on enemies. Innovation grants 8 to 145 lightning damage. Yeah, that's what it is. A nice amount of extra flat lightning damage. I'm thinking we could revamp Stormburst because of all of this. Like the changes to Galvanic Field, Sigil of Power. These are all very, very interesting. Overcharge. This is different from Innovate. Supported skills have 50% chance to shock, increased shock duration, they deal 25% less damage. Supported skills shock enemies as though dealing 690% more damage. Woo-wee! Physical to lightning support has been nerfed. Oh, they removed the increased lightning damage. Because I'm thinking they will transfigure that. I'm only thinking because there is anomalous physical to lightning support, which also does the same thing. Oh no, the anomalous physical to lightning converts more. It converts 60%. We have the PoE wiki. God damn it, let's open it up. Yeah, there it is. More physical damage conversion. Oh no, it's from here. Okay. Power charge on crit. Increase the chances of the power charges. Ooh, interesting. Spell Echo. Support spell skills, making them repeat when cast. Cannot support Val skills, totem skills, challenge skills. Blinks. Oh, so Spell Echo can now block blink skills. Oh. Swift Brand, a 5% increased activation frequency, and they have a more activation frequency. Okay. Awakened skill gems, basically the same. 37 melee splash damage. Yeah, that's it. Yay, we've finished. Oh my god, and how long did it take? Let me look at OBS. Yeah, just an hour and 49 minutes, you know, nothing too serious. Now to the transfigured gems. Finally, god damn it. Okay. Absolution of Inspiring. Damages enemies in an area, applying a debuff for a short duration. If a non-unique enemy dies while affected by the debuff, the cost will be consumed to summon a sentence of for secondary duration or to refresh the number and duration of life of the existing one instead of having number of. Okay. Increases reductions to minion damage also apply to this skill's damage at 250% of their value. I think that is the main change of Absolution. If you transfigure it. Let's have a look. Absolution right now. Yeah, it doesn't have the 250% of value. So I'm thinking this could be a very, very expensive form of Absolution because the increases and reductions to minion damage will also apply to the skill damage at 250% of value. It's a very strong increase if you have a lot of increase. Huh. Animate Guardian of Smiting. Animate a melee weapon or armor, attaching it to an invisible guardian that fights by your side using Smite of Divine Judgment, ignoring weapon restrictions. Animating multiple items attaches them to the same guardian. You cannot animate unidentified items. Cannot be used by mines. Okay. Arc of Surging. An arc of lightning reaches from the caster to a targeted enemy and splits to simultaneously. Oh. Ah. It's like a fork. Ooh. It's like arc with fork support. Huh. Modifiers to the number of times to chain instead apply to the number of target beam splits towards. So yeah. It's just gonna be one lightning beam and then the chain will become split towards 9 additional targets. So if you add chain support to it, the fork becomes bigger. Ooh, that is very interesting. I think that's how chain support will work on that arc. Arc of Oscillating. You will have 50% more damage and ailments for each remaining chain. Ooh. How about the damage though? Yeah, it's less. It has, you see that it has less flat lightning damage, but it deals more damage with hits and ailments for each remaining chain. Ooh. So I'm thinking adding chain support here again will also be helpful because you can get more 50% more damage. Because it says for each remaining chain. Barrage of Volley Fire. The first and final shots of the sequence fire 10 additional projectiles. Ooh. Blade Blast of Unloading. 100% more area effect per blade vortex blade detonated. And then you have Blade Blast of Dagger Detonation. Deals added spell damage equal to 580% of damage of equipped dagger. What? So you basically have to spam essences on the thing. Now, I don't think it's gonna work like that. But you can roll spell damage on daggers. If I'm not mistaken, I think you can. Blade Flurry of Incision. Repeatedly hit enemies. Circle in front of you while channeling, dealing damage to and around the enemy. The critical strike chance continues to be boosted while channeling. Ooh. You reach an additional hit for each stage. Reached once the channeling ends. Requires a dagger. No. Pretty nice. Basically scaling crit. Blade Trap of Great Swords. You can use two-handed swords. That's a huge AoE, I bet. Blade Trap of Laceration. What? Throws a trap which, once triggered, swings 2 copies of your equipped dagger, claw, or one-handed sword around in a circle, and it deals bleeding. Yeah, that happened. Holy. Wow. The shadows can indeed work with bleed builds now because of this. Because they also have access to damage over time multiplier over there. Blade Fall of Volleys. More damage per volley. That's pretty nice. Increased crit strike per volley. Blade Fall of Impaling. And then you have critical strikes impale enemies on hit. Holy. Okay. Bladestorm of Uncertainty. Yeah, that's another helmet enchantment. It creates the wrong. That's basically the enchantment that allows you to create the wrong Bladestorm while you're in a different stance. Blight of Contagion. So this is basically the Blight and the Contagion combined. Blight of Atrophy. What does this one do though? Debuff can have up to 20 layers of damage. Well, they're basically the same on that duration. Here. Oh, the base duration is longer. Huh. So with that, you can basically try and do Swift Affliction on it. Still gonna work the same. Blink Arrow bombarding clones, maximum numbers of 3 clones, which use whenever. Yeah, oh my god, we've seen that. Prismatic clones. These are the ones that use elemental hit. This is the one that I like though. The Bone Shatter of Complex Trauma, because as you can see here, it adds, you know, it's your usual Bone Shatter where you have added physical damage, but then you lose all trauma on reaching 10 trauma, so it just caps you at 10, and you can gain trauma the first time. Basically, it just starts off again. Very interesting. Very interesting. And you deal 20% more damage with trauma as well. Pulse has 15% increased AoE per stun of the trauma. Up to 400. Ooh. So that's where stun support can come in with this. Reduced enemy stun duration, more melee strike range, double stun duration. Excuse me. Burning Arrow of Vigor deals added fire damage equal to 24% of my. Oh my god! They moved the HP scaling of Righteous Fire over here. Ha! Interesting. 100% of physical damage converted to fire damage. Nice. So you can just keep scaling your fizz damage because it's going to be converted anyway completely. Strength stacking Chieftain. Anyone? Caustic Arrow of Poison. Not a little redundant. In an area. Oh. Okay, that's different. Cleave of Rage. When dual wielding, deals 60% more damage from each weapon combined. Ooh. Gain 2 rage if this skill hits any enemies. Hey yo! Free rage generation with it? Holy! Oh, no wonder why I never seen wants to play a rage cleave. Cold Snap of Pa. Chance to get a power charge on crit. Burst. Base radius is 2.5 meters. Consecrated Path of Endurance. More AoE per endurance charge. More attack damage per endurance charge. Wow. Ooh. And what's nice is that it doesn't consume them. That's one important thing. This is basically like the Juggernaut's endurance charge stacking Consecrated Path. You have a reason now to use Veruso's battering rams. The unique gloves that has the endurance charge. If I'm not mistaken, that is the one that also scales a little bit more of your damage, you know, a little bit more of your health, I think, per endurance charge. That's gonna be nice. Contagion of Subsiding. Unleashes a vile contagion on enemies, dealing chaos damage over time. If an enemy dies while affected by it, the debuff spreads to other enemies, but each time it spreads, it only deals 3/4 as much damage as before. If an enemy is hit while affected by contagion, the debuff to other enemies. Oh, this one's the same. But the damage on this is lower. And it has a bigger radius. Crackling Lance. Ooh. Crackling Lance of Branching. Releases a beam which deals lightning damage to enemies in a long area in front of you and has several smaller beams branch off of it at an angle. So it's basically a wider version. Oh, okay. Crackling Lance of Disintegration. Oh, so it immediately becomes the maximum stat. Ah. It does not have an intensity on it. Take note. But it has a 20% maximum effect of shock. So you can increase the shock effect from 50% to 70 on this? Holy. And even the flat damage is big. Oh. Overcharge on this is gonna be disgusting. Oh my god. Cremation of Exhuming. Cremation of Volcano. Oh yeah, this is where you get a volcano instead. Cyclone of Tumult. Did I say that right? Tumult. Tumult. Increase AoE per additional melee range. More attack speed per stage. Wow, so you get faster attacks with it. So you could technically make a really strong cast on crit build. You can have a good cock with your Cyclone of Tumult. Holy. Detonate Dead of Scavenging. Detonate Dead of Chain Reaction. Oh, this is like the Val Detonate Dead, I think, where okay. Discharge of Misery. Discharge all the characters' charges to deal elemental damage to all nearby monsters. That's nice. Divine Ire of Holy Lightning. Excuse me, but what is that? Please explain. Channeling draws in energy around you to repeatedly build up stages, damaging a number of nearby enemies when you do so. Release to unleash this energy in a powerful burst around you. So what, is this like only focusing on the AoE that you could do with Divine Ire? Because Divine Ire has like an AoE while you're channeling, right? And that also explodes, but yeah, not so big. Is this focusing on solely the AoE? Disintegration. Oh, I think it's going to be the same as Crackling Lance. 591 Fizz, yeah, higher flat damage. Physical converted to lightning. Increased beam width, yeah, beam width, bigger boy. Beam deals 200% more damage with hits, while this deals 1. Yeah, this is, ooh, yeah, this is big boy bossing. I think what they want to do here is that, you know, they want you to switch your transfigured gems. Could be a thing. Dominating Blow of Inspiring. Yeah, there you go again. Increases and reductions to minion damage also applied to the skill at 250% of their value. Ah. OP. Double Strike of Impaling. Oh, chance to impale. Double Strike of Momentum. More attack speed for each stage. Oh, so you gain stages now here. And it increases in attack speed. That's pretty strong. That is bossing right there. That's, for me, that screams bossing. Cause, you know, you gain more attack speed for each stage while you're hitting. Huh. That is how I see that. Very, very interesting. Oh, wait a minute. I have a notif. Oh, wait a minute. Somebody commented on one of our videos. Yee, that's good to know. Wait a minute, let me just comment. Let me just reply back to Sam. Well, yeah, for context, one of the people who's commented on the League Start video that I've done is that he was also there back when I made the min-maxed Bleed Lacerate build for Sentinel back in the day. The build, it was one of the most fun builds because goddamn, I started with it from scratch, or like I started with it like since the very beginning. You know, I League started with the thing, and then using my remaining knowledge from my Bladestorm build in Ultimatum, I made a Lacerate build with it, and with everything that was working back then, you know, spell suppression still wasn't nerfed. So I managed to only get, you know, like 50% spell suppression. That was already perfect. And from there, I could just scale my block with versatile combatant. So I would have, you know, 50% chance to block on attacks and spells, and then scale up my HP so much so that if anything ever goes through, I have enough to tank it. That was my defensive mechanics back then. That was just it. That simple. The 50 rule. 50% spell suppression, 50% attack block, 50% spell block, and then everything else could just be tanked. Like, I didn't even care about ailments. Like, I could get ignited, didn't care. We had enough regen back then, we could lifesteal a little bit. Not that much of an issue. Let me just finish this up. I'm gonna tell him that we're live right now as well, so that, you know, maybe he can stop by and greet us. Maybe he can greet us. Now, okay, that's done. Let's go back. Let's fly back to our transfigured gems. So yeah, what do you guys think about these though? These are pretty interesting. Like, these will no doubt be pretty good in, you know, increasing like the damage from the builds. It's from the builds themselves, like 250% of any increases and reductions to minion damage. That is insane. And you also have Dominating Blow as well. Dominating Blow can give you a lot of extra minions very quickly. So that's going to be very, very strong as well. That's all very nice. Consecrated Path of Endurance is pretty nice as well. I feel like it's a nice way to try and play an endurance charge stacking build, because you gain a lot of extra little things with the endurance charge, plus it doesn't consume them. So you're not left with the thought of having to constantly generate your endurance charges. If you have max endurance charges, perfect. Although Juggernauts can technically keep maxing their endurance charges anyway, because I remember they have this specific ascendancy that allows them to have an instance where endurance charge are gained, you instead gain your max. That's nice. Bladestorm. I'm not I want to see what they can do with the other skills though. So I'm pretty sure, guys, if this is gonna be my assumption, okay. Later on when I'm gonna be asleep, Path of Exile is gonna release more updates, so I will release another short video on that. And we're just gonna look at the transfigure gems really quickly. And then I'll head on with my day. I'm just basically gonna do some morning exercises, or maybe we can go through them one by one if it's gonna be interesting enough. Because you know, it's not like I have a lot of, or it's not like I am interested in everything, you know. Something that could be, you know, something that has potential will of course be interesting to me, but I'm not gonna go like, oh, this is not, oh, is it, oh, you know. Well, I mean, we could point out some of the things that are gonna be pretty significant, but we'll still have to see for the moment. So yeah, that covers the transfigure gems. So I'm gonna put that in the timestamps. I'm gonna timestamp that once the VOD turns into a video. And then, so I think it is gonna be bleed build reveal time. Hell yeah. I'm not sure if Blaze is still here though, but that is what we are gonna do. Holy, is you guys ready? Oh, there's Blaze. Hey, aha. Oop. Sorry about that. Working on crafting guide. Ooh, there we go, guys. So to those who are watching the VOD already, I'm gonna start the VOD, or I'm gonna start the segment here, because you can already see that Blaze is already working on the crafting guide for the bleed weapons. That's gonna be, or maybe we can crop this part of the video and just re-upload it separately. I guess we'll see. Anyway, we're just gonna proceed. Oh, wait a minute though, guys. Let me just do a quick mute. I'm gonna do a quick mute, guys. Alright, boys, we's back. I apologize for the slight muting. We are ready. So you guys are gonna listen to my useless voice while we go around the build reveal. Okay, so yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We are going to Is that highlighted already? Nice. I think we just whoop. Okay, there we go. So we are gonna move my sail very lightly. Yeah, we're gonna move my sails over here so you guys can see the numbers. I'm not gonna be blocking any significant numbers though anyway. And yeah, this is just basically the Bladestorm POB that I'm looking at. Don't worry, this is my build. This is not the build that we're going through, and this is not the build that's gonna be on the next chapter. So where is Blaze Lacerate? Here we are. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh wait a minute. Is this his? No, it's not his. Well, this is basically my build that is on Lacerate with him doing his own tweak to it. Where was his? Oh, I think this is the one. Yeah. This is the one. Yes, the one with the damage like that. Nice. Okay. So, guys, here we are. I'm gonna put this POB in the description so that you guys can have a look at it if you want to mess around with it. And well, I have just segmented like the passives here according to the amount of levels that you're gonna have to go for, so that at least you guys have, you know, a little bit of a path. So you already have the two-handed endgame damage here, or like the endgame passives once you're at level 100. This is based on his POB, and at least based on how I see the build has been made, this has been my segmentation of the passives. So this is basically what the passive tree I think should at least look like once you're going through the acts. Like from here, for example, act 1 to 5, you're basically going to be at level 41 or higher at that point. And this I feel would be like at least the way where you would feel most comfortable with it, because technically, of course, you are going to go through 1 to 5. A recommendation from Blaze would be to only have Crimson Dance once you have multi-strike up, or once you can get multi-strike, which is basically on act 4. And it is understandable as well, because you cannot reliably deal or you cannot reliably make use of Crimson Dance if you don't have enough attack speed for it. And Lacerate and Bladestorm, whichever you guys are going to use, if ever, are pretty slow with their base values of attack speed, because as you can see here, there you are. The attack speed of Lacerate is at 60% of the base. So if you just go with faster attacks, it's not gonna be as fulfilling or not as powerful. So Blaze recommends that if you are going to go with Lacerate and you want to use Crimson Dance immediately, the earliest that you can use it is at Act 4. Once you have multi-strike, because I mean, it is sensible. You know, you can't make the most out of Crimson Dance if you do not have the attack speed that multi-strike provide, right? And instead of going for the DOT multi for bleeding, you know, Crimson Dance works by stacking bleeds. And if you don't have enough chance to bleed yet, or if you don't have a stable enough chance to bleed, then what is the point of Crimson Dance anyway? So you are also going to go for the right side of the bloodletting cluster, because that allows you to get 30% chance to bleed just from there. And then one actual thing that's gonna be pretty nice is to have Seasoned Swordplay. It actually feels pretty comfortable having, you know, a little bit more mana reservation, especially now since helmet enchantments are gonna be taken out. You know, you're not gonna have any helmet enchantments anymore. So it's gonna be pretty hard. To get all of the auras that you're gonna need. And that's also one thing though, because the build relies on using pride, malevolence, and determination as your core. So there could be a chance that you may have to drop something, if not get more of aura reservation, either on the tree or on the clusters, or maybe even on the jewels. Maybe you will have to go for a little bit more mana reservation efficiency on your jewels. Because of course, a good way to reduce your mana reservation efficiency were to get a helmet enchantment for one of the 50% auras, right? But now, yeah, not gonna happen. God damn it, GGG. So with that in mind, there may be a chance that well, I mean, the man is here anyway. How would you build around that, Blaze? I'm thinking, and believe it or not, I'm thinking you may gonna have to drop aspect of the spider then, right? Just so you can have all three auras still working properly without the helmet reservation or without the helmet enchantment. Oh, you go for a cluster and then keep going for the reduced reservation efficiencies or the increased reservation efficiencies like this. So I think this, I mean, this is not, if I'm not mistaken, Arcane Heroism wasn't taken anyway. He just took the Megalomaniac because it has the Malevolence and the Determination passives. So I think he didn't care about the Arcane Heroism. So I'm thinking a min-max version were you to have Pride, Determination, and Malevolence for this to work. Or unique ring with Herald of Purity reservation. Ah, yeah. Something like that. Or would Ayul's Uprising also be interesting to get? The Delve amulet that can give, or that can free up reservation for a 50% jewel already using. Oh, okay. Oh yeah. There you have it, folks. We have the build creators updates as we are here. Oh man, this is some premium content shit right here. Woo! Woo! Holy! Just have a look at the timestamp. What time is this? Okay, we're 2 hours and 23 minutes in. Got it. Okay, so yeah. This is what the passive tree will look like during Act 1 to 5, where you basically, you know, want to try and climb down over here, get as much attack speed as you can without compromising the pathing. And then you're gonna go for Hatchet Master because Hatchet Master gives you Onslaught. Onslaught will give you attack speed. Attack speed is delicious. And then, well, you will go with this Stance Axe Mastery. What would I like to go? Well, one more thing that I feel would be nice as an alternative would be the damage against ailments that are low on life. But the AoE while in Stance is also pretty significant as well. So I guess it's gonna be up to your own comfort. Then over here, the faster bleeding, of course. But I think I may also want to clarify that the 50% faster, I don't think you would want to go for it immediately, since of course you're just starting out, you know? So I think you can just leave off the faster bleeding mastery for a later stage in the game where you have enough attack speed for that. Because, you know, if you can't make use of all of your Crimson Dance stacks, what is the point of it, right? I mean, that's why it is called Crimson Dance, in my opinion. It's a delicate thing. It's a very precise balance that you have to go for. So once you're done with that, you go to Act 6, the 10, which is basically the second half of the act. So it's a pretty big change. Like, this is basically one half of the tree, and then once you go to Act 6 to 10, this is what you can get. This is at level 74. So yeah, this is premium mapping stage, you know, just the start of the mapping stage. So this is what it's gonna look like. You're basically just gonna branch outwards from behind here and go into, or just gonna cross the life wheel and get Veteran Soldier, get Vanquisher, because you can't rush the clusters yet. Well, if you have the money to go for the clusters ASAP, then please do, of course. But if you're gonna league start with it, it's gonna be a little bit slower to go to. But one thing that I would like to say is that league starting with these builds is, despite you may feel them feeling slow compared to the others, like the SRS Guardian, you know, it feels way more satisfying. I don't know why. For me, it's just, slower builds are just way more satisfying. And then eventually, once you get to 75 to 90, this is what it's gonna look like. I just left the extra passive tree or passive here, but yeah, there you go. This is a more rounded out look of it. At this point, you can get the clusters anyway, because you are gonna have to get your mana reservation up, and boop, you can just drop the arcane heroism there. PoE Ninja likes to typically allocate everything that it sees on the trees, even the clusters. So that is how it should look like. So technically, you have 2 extra passive points at this point, which you can dedicate to somewhere else if you'd like. You know, maybe a little bit more life, maybe go into Juggernaut. But yeah, these are just totally expendable passive points. Maybe you need a little bit more intelligence, you can drop 1. But then as you go to the two-handed endgame version, which is basically Blaze's full passive tree, where he basically has things like Intuitive Leap in, where he has Impossible Escape, where we have all of these insane gear then. And then that's when you're gonna have to strictly follow this if you want to see the same damage that you're seeing over there. Okay, that is just one thing that I'd like to point out. What you're seeing, the damage that you're seeing right here is based upon his endgame gear. And speaking about endgame gear, if I'm not mistaken, you can make do with the Wood Splitter. Or what was that, the Wood Splitter? I think the big two-handed whip, because this is a two-handed Lacerate build with a champion ascendancy. So I think you can make do with the two-handed axe as the unique item to start off with. And then, because Atziri's Disfavor is basically going to be your equivalent to Jack the Axe, because Jack the Axe is your one-handed bleeds, is going to be your one-handed equivalent to making your bleed builds. And Atziri's Disfavor is its two-handed equivalent as per Blaze, because of the insane amount of flat physical damage that you get with it. And you also have a good amount of extra quality with it, like here you go. You know, if you have Atziri's Disfavor, you have a 30% quality to socket and support gem, so that's going to be pretty nice. You already have the Maim as well. You have a little bit more attack speed, which is good, and then you have more chance to bleed, and then you have a little bit more weapon range, so Lacerate is gonna hit from further away. So that's gonna be a good start with it. And then basically, if I'm not mistaken, once you get your ascendancies, you're also gonna have to go for the gloves, and the gloves are gonna be hemophilia. That's the important part, because it's basically what allows the champion version of the bleeding build to work. Because hemophilia is essentially gratuitous violence for your gloves. So that's how it's gonna be. So once that's done though, you can create like a mid-tier axe. And you have to use the Sundering Axe as the base, because it has the implicit where you have 20% DOT for bleeding. That's really strong. Like DOT for bleeding, anything that has multiplier 4 is really strong. So that implicit is going to be great with it. And of course, it's a two-handed weapon, you know. It's always going to be stronger than a one-handed version. So that's going to be nice. And as you can see, I mean, it's not much of a damage increase, but it is a damage increase. And this is just like me thinking about, basically thinking about the acceptable numbers that you're going to find when you're just crafting. You know, this isn't like pure endgame. Min-max levels of crafting, unlike his version here with the demon song, his two-handed axe. Like this is insane. Like this is like mirror tier axe, you know. Just look at that. You have 196% increased damage. You have the DOT suffix with it. You have the flat fizz with it. You have the impale with it, right? And then you also have the tier 1 elder blade mod with it. And you also have the culling strike mod with it. And you just slap on some attack speed. And then that's it. You know, so that is like end game levels of crafting. This is just essence spam. Then you incorporate your veiled crafting on it because it has the physical damage and the chance to bleed with it. And then just finish it off with attack speed. That's it. That's like the bare minimum, but it's still going to be stronger than at Ziri's Disfavor once you can craft something like that. So at least it gives you like a scale of progression to go for. So yeah, that's basically how it's gonna be once you're gonna make this build. So we are gonna have to drop Herald of Purity. So yeah, we are gonna have to drop the mana reservation efficiency enchantment for this. Yeah, I think it's going to be better if we just delete it here, since, you know, it's basically not what you want to go for. So you may be confused if you try and paste the POB and then try to incorporate everything that you see right now. So let's go for the big face the Bassane. And edit. We will remove this line. Save. So yeah, there you go. You don't have enough mana because that'll be taken out. But if the megalomaniac that you have, if the megalomaniac that you have will have the passive for pride, so that it has determination, pride, and malevolence, then I'm gonna be back to normal. Okay, there we go. So yeah, that is basically it. That is what the build will be looking like. Holy. But yeah, I'm pretty curious about the Bladestorm though. I don't know why Bladestorm is suddenly just like it's calling to me like shawarma on the street. There's no other way to put it, because I just goddamn love shawarma, you know. It's like I can even smell it without even seeing that. There's a shawarma store somewhere, you know. But yeah, so that's basically how the build is going to look like. This is going to be like one of the most scuffed build guides ever, because it's part of the live stream. Wait for the transfigured version of it. Uncertainty is trash. Yeah. I know. But I'm pretty confident that even with the default version, because the default version gives you the helmet enchantment where you get another Bladestorm, and the Bladestorms are pretty okay. You know, it at least gives you a little bit of lingering damage if you have to dodge or something like that, which is what I find really nice with it, and partially how I survived like all of my ultimatum runs before, because I could just spin and leave. I didn't even use multi-strike with it. You know, I just used faster attacks with it, just so that I don't have to deal the less damage of the multi-strike, because, you know, for multi-strike to work, you have to keep on, you have to use all of the repeats until you can get to the final hit. Excuse me. But yeah, so that was what I did before. And it felt pretty okay. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting to see what else they're gonna put out. You know, I'm pretty curious to see, because this is one thing though. I'm sure they will put out their most significant or their most controversial updates later, once we fall asleep. Because I am completely certain that that's what they're gonna do. You know, just to get a little bit more hype for the league. They could actually do a mix of both. They could post their most like their most positive transfigures, and then they might post their most controversial transfigures as well, so that a lot of people can get some feedback of it and a lot of people can talk about it, which we will talk about it. God damn it, I am a talkative person. But yeah, so going back, guys, that is basically it. So here is the summary again, once more. This is what your passive tree should look like, Act 1 to 5. What your passive tree will look like, Act 6 to 10. 75 to 90. You will want to go with Impossible Escape if you can. I'm sure Impossible Escape for Crimson Dance is going to be pretty cheap anyways, because I mean, you know, not a lot of people are going to go for something like this. And then the final two-handed endgame version is going to be like that. But yeah, oh wait a minute, why isn't this included? Hey, let's add all of that again. There we go. Did we get Brutal Infamy? Yeah, we can. There. And save. So yeah, let's have a look at it again. Act 1 to 5. Act 6 to 10. 75 to 90. And then your end game. There you go. Nice. And you can see though, like the 10 passives plus the rearranging of the skills is like immense, because it gives you 3 million damage increase. That's pretty big. And that's still with that Ziri's that's still with that Ziri's disfavor. You know. That's gonna be very, very nice, very, very delicious, very, very interesting. Okay, let's go for it again. Act 1 to 5, guys. Act 6 to 10. 35 to 90. And then your full end game. Core uniques, hemophilia. This build is not gonna be what it is if you don't have hemophilia first, until you can get your Forbidden Flame and Forbidden Flesh, or gratuitous violence, which is what we need for the Gladiator and for the Exploding Bleeds. Okay, so core item, hemophilia, and then your mapping item. I call it the mapping item because usually that's the unique that you get once you're in maps at Ziri's disfavor. Then after that, you start crafting your mid-game acts, and then from there it's always going to be constantly going for, you know, your usual damage layers, your usual defensive layers, armor that can give you a good amount of spell suppression, a good amount of life, you know, constantly capping your resistances, all of that usual stuff. That's all going to be normal. The only thing that's going to change, or like the main points, is just to get hemophilia first, and then get at Ziri's disfavor when you can, and then crafting it, or crafting a mid-tier sundering axe once you are basically within the levels of, I'm guessing 85 at the earliest, up until 95 at the latest. I think for me that's the optimum level gap or level bracket, where you can start crafting for an axe that's going to be dealing more damage than disfavor. But I mean, if you don't want to just go and you just want to straight up min-max your axe immediately, hey, I'm not stopping you. I mean, for me, 9 million bleed damage is already gonna be plentiful. You know? Like, if I'm not mistaken, my bleed build before was just at 5 million or 6 million. The one-handed version, that was pretty tanky. That's all it was. But yeah, you know, as you can see here, it has capped resistances everywhere. It has capped spell suppression as well. And physical damage reduction is at 90%, so you will feel incredibly tough. You'll feel incredibly thick. I mean, and you will so, because the life isn't as high as what you would have with usual two-handed builds, but it makes up for it with the sheer amount of reduction in damage overall. So that is going to be really nice. And yeah, that's basically it. That's going to be interesting. And I actually feel like, I don't know why, but Bladestorm for me really is just, it's calling out to me like a siren out to sea. Oh my god. Yeah, okay, so let's drop this now. Save. And we will put that on the VOD. And just for fair measure, I'm just gonna run a little bit of PoE. PoE is not responding. Ah, okay, there we go. Nice. Oh my god, it's so laggy. I don't know why it is. Oh, okay, there we go. Nah, I'm just kidding. It's still so laggy. Okay, there we go. Let's go in. Yeah, well, a friend of mine just asked what is the level of, like, what yeah, how do you say it? Yeah, what is regarded as hypertension when it comes to blood pressure? I just told him once you're at 130, it's already questionable at that point. It's gonna be mild hypertension. Because he knows that I had not just hypertension, I got fucking tension. I had what, 180 over 160 in my blood pressure for July, which is why I have such an insane reduction in weight now, just to make sure that, you know, I'm gonna have to bring down my liver fat, because that was the reason why I had secondary hypertension, is what they call it. It's not like my heart has a problem, it's because it has to work because of something. And that was what the doctor said was the issue. It sensed that my liver was fatty, so it wanted to work overtime to make sure that the liver was getting enough blood, which ended up in me having high blood pressure. But yeah, that's like really intense hypertension. 180 over 160. Hey. Alright boys, let's mess around with Bladestorm. I'm just kidding, we can't mess around with Bladestorm. Too much FPS drop. Oh my god. Whenever I go in, it happens. The frame drops are insane. Why is it like this? Oh my god. It's just disgusting. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, whoa. I didn't even see that my HP was already so low. Holy! Why are we frame dropping so goddamn hard? Ew. I hate it. Why is the CPU at full bars? Does that mean that the CPU is working at 100% capacity? I'm looking at OBS right now. It's only taking up to 10% of the CPU's power. Oh my god, the frame drop. Fucking hell. How can I even play? Does this happen with you guys? Holy. Because I did try as well yesterday. It was like this as well during the very start of the league. Or like the very start of my play. My god. Why is it like that? Why is it like that? Whoa! You cannot play like that. You cannot play like that. It's frame dropping. Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. 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 I turn into a goddamn Neanderthal when this happens. Don't you just hate it when the frames drop and you turn into a caveman? But yeah, I don't know why the frames are dropping like that. Is it because of the GPU? Is it because of the CPU? I am absolutely uncertain. Did I remove the texture filtering? Let's reduce it a little. But it doesn't affect anything. Yeah, it just changes texture quality anyway. God damn. But yeah, we do get 60 FPS and then it just drops like that. Oh my god. Whoa. The frame drops. Oh my god. Oh, it's so irritating. My nose is starting to get so itchy. Or should I drop the frame rate on my stream? I think I'm at 60 FPS right now. Yeah, I'm at 60 FPS. Wow, we have 0 drop frames. I think I should drop the frame rate. Let's try it. Let me just drop the frame rate. Let me go to 30. Wait a minute, guys. I'm gonna stop the stream, but I'm pretty sure we can continue it. You will not be able to reconnect. Your stream will stop and you will no longer be live. Fuck! Well, I guess we run with this. But it's just so irritating, like... that you always have these constant frame drops. I never had this before. The bleed pops are really just so satisfying. What I really like about this build, or like with bleed overall, with Crimson Dance, you know, everybody just exploding like goddamn fireworks. Whoa. What was that, DOT? Might want to explain yourself? Let's go in, kill the boss. Oh, twin the boss. Uh oh. Whoa! 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 The frame drops. We got it. Oh, the frame drops again. The frame drops again. Ooh. Ha! We did it. Okay, yeah, that was on me. I cannot blame the FPS, nor will I. I had overestimated myself. Oh. Oh. Woohoo. Bye. Ooh. Nice. Nearby enemies gain 100% of their physical damages. Ugh. Disgusting. Yes. Then I die. Okay, now we go to the expedition. Who was the expeditioner anyway? Expeditioner? Is that a thing? That just goddamn hurts. These ones though hurt the most. Oh my god, them lightning bitches. Those lightning bitches, they hurt. Holy. Okay. So it's Tujin. Oh, Tujin. Nice. Okay. We stand still for a little bit. We read what's going on. Number of rare monsters, quantity of items. I mean, I know we're not gonna make the most out of it anyway, but you know, it's nice to keep your muscle memory up. Immune to physical damage, you would want to get that if you are a bleed build, yeah. Impale, penetrate cold, but they drop additional currency. I mean, we can go for that. Shock. I mean, we have storm shroud anyway. Oh, won't be a problem. Chance to block. Not that much of an issue. There we go. Oh, additional currency from here as well. Sure. Making sure I'm not hitting that. Dun, 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 dun. Can we go around though? Can we go around here? Oh, we can. Oh! Have ward equal to their life. We do not care about that because we can melt through it anyway. Whoa, the frame drops. My reaction. Whoa. Holy. Oh man, and it's our last portal as well. Holy fuck. Frame drops going on, man. What's going on, man? Why the frame drops keep happening, man? My tornado is bigger than yours. My frame drops are getting worse. Exotic coins, yay, we got the exotic coins. I'm just here for the exotic coins. I love the haggling. Whoa, hey, 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 hey. Frame drop, frame drop. Okay. There we go. Hey. I think it's just, I think Path of Exile has this weird thing where I think it's trying to reload everything again as you play, so it just bugs out and derps around like, yeah, we're good with that. Okay, let's go. But yeah, that's Bladestorm for you with matching F-frame drops. A Bladestorm champion. Let's try and see if we'll get this bullshit now. Children temporal chains. Yeah, this will be like something that'll be pretty curious to you, like if you can run this, and you definitely can for, you know, a bleed build if you have if it has physical reduction. Not that much of a problem. But if you're a blocker though, when you have chance to block reduction, yeah, it's gonna be pretty hurtful. This one's fine. All of my maps go away. Let's haggle. Man, I still remember the time when exalted shards were the thing. Like if you found them, you would be stoked. Like you would feel so amazing if you had that pop up. But now it's more like, oh, okay. And that's the reason why I feel like divines are way more expensive, because they don't have shards. Unlike exalted orbs, you know, you could gather them via shards, that thereby making harbingers very nice. Just take my neck pillow. Oh, yeah. That's a lot of chaos orbs for these 5 exotic coins. Let's open them up. Oh, no, no, no. Okay. With your, what the hell? With a key. Yeah, that's the reason why, guys. I'm also thinking about making a blade build as well, because the Bladestorm feels pretty okay. All of a sudden, I think I'm just gonna try and, you know, like, switch around the ways in which we can get it to work. because we are definitely gonna go with a champion with it, you know, and then from there at least we have a better idea on how to progress. The raindrops, raindrops keep falling on my head. Oh, bloody hell. Woohoo! Whoa! Whoop, 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 whoop. We stay inside. Whoa! Holy! There's one thing I want to try and get more frequently now as well. Fractured items, like items with stats that we need. It's okay, we can get more of that. Oh my god. Whoa! I suddenly saw those magma orbs. Tear of purity. Oh, there we go. Ooh. This guy has reduction, right? Debut. Oh, hey. Reposition, reposition. Oh, hell yeah. Ooh. Pretty big Tujin area again. Holy. Additional blessed orb. Oh my god, they gain both lightning and cold damage. No, I will no to that. Whoa. Care blade. Ooh. All right. Well, at least we are surviving now reliably. We can go. Alright. Okay, let's see what the void is gonna give us. Coral ring. Oh man. Okay guys, well that is gonna be it. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. You know, to the VOD watchers, if you've made it to the end, oh my, you guys are the reason why I keep pushing forward with videos. So yeah, that has been it guys. Gladiator gameplay is, well, kind of dead because of GGG not fixing things yet. And well, because of that, the champion is there and it's taken over, and it, as you can see, it's doing no problem at all. And yeah, hope you guys will have fun looking around the POB that Blaze has. And I shall be seeing you all later once the new batch of gems show up. We are gonna do that. I'm definitely gonna make a short video about it and then do our exercise, or maybe nap a little bit more, and then we can do a deep dive into it. At least though, if we deep dive, it's gonna be pretty easy because it's just gonna be whatever Path of Exile posts. And my chair is going down again. Oh my god, I need to change chairs. So yeah guys, follow us on Twitch as well, because Twitch is going to be the next place we're gonna live stream, and then I shall see you all then. Okay.